Welcome back to another episode of Saving Earth Unscripted. Today is the 1st of June. It's the 1st of Pride Month. And that is awesome. And I love gay people. No, wrong thing to say. I didn't mean to say that. What I meant to say was I am non-binary and asexual, and Pride Month is, well, it's just another month, but Pride is awesome. Pride as a concept and as a state of being is pretty cool. It is also my birthday month. So for today's episode, this might be a little shorter than it is normally. I think what I want to do for this episode is I just want to highlight some of the interesting things that I've noticed. So one of the interesting things that I've noticed recently has just been like in terms of like LGBT stuff, and the climate crisis. One of the things that I've noticed has been like when we talk about like the root causes of climate change and the oppressions that climate change exacerbates, we mention a lot. We mention like, racism and colonialism, and patriarchy, which I find interesting actually, because yes, but it's a little bit of a stretch. In my opinion, as a cause. But yeah, one thing I noticed is that people don't talk a lot about like disabled people or ableism being a cause of the climate crisis, which is, well, here's what I have to say about that. And like, I may be wrong, but like, the climate crisis, it wasn't caused by anything other than just the technological causes of the climate crisis. The climate crisis wasn't directly caused by the patriarchy or racism or colonialism, or I should say colonization. But what it was caused by was the priorities that those systems set up. The fact that like all people weren't equal, therefore we can exploit people and take their land and all that. So like in that same way though, I feel like ableism does have to do with the climate crisis. And I've talked to actually the people at 0 Hour about this before, about ableism having to do with climate crisis and being one of the root causes in that direct, indirect way. And there is a slide for ableism in their presentation. But what I find interesting is like, when you're not disabled, you kind of have no idea how to act. And you kind of have no idea, like, what should I be doing? Should I be, like, reminding people about, ableism and disability issues as an ally, as an able-bodied ally? Should I be, directing people to more disabled voices? When really, I guess, like, instead of, yes, Exactly. No one really knows until you speak up. So instead of asking, like, what should I be doing, just ask, like, disabled people, not as, like, you're a token, I'm going to use you thing, but, like, please, if there aren't disabled people involved with what you're doing, get them involved and then ask them, like, hey, how can we make this work? How can we how can we make this work for you? Do you have any idea how could this work generally for others with disabilities? Like, people are often bothered by being asked, like, on behalf of a community, but me, like, working at 0 hour and then leaving and talking to them after, like, it's no one really talks to disabled people or asks them about, like, the climate crisis and how that affects them, and I always have to be the one to remind everybody that it affects, like, everyone, but people of color and disabled people more often than, or not more often, but just with a higher intensity than it affects other people. And yeah, that's fine. Bye. Yeah. Oh, that was weird. That was really funny. Did I actually? Oh my god. I accidentally turned the camera. I have no idea how that happened. But anyway. Yeah, so so I'll get down to the point. And the point is this. Some people are bothered when they're asked, like, on behalf of the community, like, is this okay? Would you be willing to contribute blah, blah, blah? You know, are you able to blah, blah, blah? You know, can you help us out with blah, blah, blah? Yes, a lot of people do get annoyed by that. I personally haven't seen enough of anyone asking me or discussing with me those things at all. So I can't feel offended when someone does, because it actually is helpful when people, like, reach out and are like, hey, can you help us make this thing we're doing less ableist? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will respond to that. I will tell you what I think. I will give you my personal opinion, because we need to start talking about disabled people and their connections with the climate crisis more. It's so hard to find disabled people who are a part of climate activism, and, like, a few good people will mention the climate crisis as like a thing and say, hey, disabled people are affected by this too. Good for you. You're being a nice ally, bro. But, like, I don't know. Not everyone does that. So again, don't ask people on behalf of the disabled community because you want to use one person and then have a token, but just, like, let disabled people contribute, I guess. Like, maybe not let us contribute. Maybe just, like, stand by while we take over what you're doing. Or maybe that's too aggressive on our part. No, not too aggressive. It's not too aggressive because we've been left out of a lot, and I feel like if we sort of just, like, did an overtaking, that wouldn't be, you know, all the way unheard of or inappropriate. Anyway, though, I guess this was a really short episode, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And then also, people don't really mention, like, LGBT stuff either. Like, no one mentions, like, homophobia or transphobia as a root cause of climate change, and, like, it's not, but also in the same directly indirect way that the others have caused it with like the values of the systems that were set up. Like, yeah, I'm talking, like, moral values, like hey, I think this is okay because I was raised to believe that we need this for this and blah blah blah, like patriarchy and colonization and racism, like, those three are, like, the big three, I guess, according to that presentation that I actually mentioned. But I don't know, LGBT people, like, I think the statistic is, like, 40%, like, they're, like, 40% more likely to be homeless or something, and then from then homeless people are much more likely to be affected by climate change and are affected by climate change. So like, and then disabled people, of course, like, I don't know, I just feel like when you leave disabled people out of something, even if it's not, like, I don't know, like, the fact that you would leave in patriarchy but take out ableism from that list of, like, direct causes, it's just a little weird to me, because it feels like you're saying, from my able-bodied perspective, this isn't enough of a thing. But you can't ever know that because you're able-bodied. Like, you can't judge that properly. Anyway, though. Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to rant. Goodbye.